Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. In today's video, I'd like to share with you a book I just bought on the Disney Animator. There have been many animators who worked for Disney over the years, and it's hard to pick which one was the best. But this man was the only one to be called a Renaissance man, and he was called that by Walt Disney himself. Who was that animator, you may ask? Why, it was none other than Marc Davis. And the book is entitled Marc Davis, Walt Disney's Renaissance Man. As you can see, this is a pretty good sized book. I have a ruler right here, and it measures about, a little over a foot long. And as for the length of it, it's about a little over 9 inches, close to 9.5. Yeah, I really like the cover where it shows right here. It's Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Those are the pirates trying to get the key from the dog. And down here we see Cruella de Vil, Prince Philip, and Aurora, as well as Maleficent. And I think this is based on Marc Davis's actual signature, but I can't tell. And yeah, it's appropriate to call it Walt Disney's Renaissance Man because he worked in many different fields within the company. Now let's take a look inside. Nothing of interest there. We open with a quote from Marc Davis. The whole thing with creativity is that there is something new to do out there. Why not give it a try? Pretty crazy drawing, but it looks proportionately correct. He was always experimenting with different styles, even though he was always known for the Disney stuff. And right here we got a drawing of his knight. Looks really nice. Right here in the corner is Marc Davis himself and his wife. I think her name was Alice, but I'm not sure. Table of contents. That's a picture of him as a baby being held by his mother. This is just an introduction. And here's like various pictures of him over the years. He should have done a lot with his life. These are really nice pictures. Like, especially like that down there with him and... especially like this one with him and Walt Disney. These are paintings he did of his mother and father. What a very talented man. I wish I could have drawn as well as he did. And this section covers his work as a teacher. Not only did he draw, he taught art, and not sure I could show you a lot of these he drew because there's nudity in it, and I don't want to be flagged by YouTube. This section right here covers his animal studies. I think this one right here is supposed to be an orangutan. Yeah. He must have drawn Louis since Louis was a orangutan. And he was quite an amazing artist. I can see why Walt Disney would call him his Renaissance man. Well, to be fair, there was a lot of talented artists who worked for Disney. I mean, you kind of have to be to get to the style they want. Yeah. Here's like people. I've taken art class before, and I could tell you doing these action poses is very difficult. They always have you work still life first. Now here's the part of the book where it's dedicated to his animation work. Right there, of course, Cruella de Vil. Wow. These are drawings he did for the movie Victory Through Air Power. It was a propaganda movie Walt Disney made during World War II to advocate the creation of the Air Force as a separate unit. The Army already used airplanes, but there hadn't been an Air Force yet. Looks like drawings from Little House, and what do we have here? It's from Duck Pimples, it looks like. Of course, there's Snow White. Alice. I skipped ahead a little. Oh, he also worked on Cinderella. Here we have Aurora or Briar Rose. And there's her with Philip. Yeah, I could just spend all day looking at these. And this is action poses for 101 Dalmatians. I always admire animators' ability to draw action like this. I originally wanted to be an animator myself, but I just lacked the talent to do so. Now, like, this section deals with a movie that was never made. It's based on an old medieval story called Chanticleer. Very nice drawings, as usual. And Marc Davis once said that this was his best work. And just looking at these birds, I could see why he would feel that way. It was a movie they wanted to make since the 1930s, but because of World War II, they didn't get around to making it. And this movie was proposed to be their next movie after 101 Dalmatians. And the story goes that Marc Davis drew up all these pieces and presented it to Walt Disney. Because Walt Disney called him his Renaissance man, a lot of people felt that there was no way Walt Disney would say no to Marc Davis. And, well, long story short, he said no to Marc Davis, and that disappointed all the animators. And I think in some ways, Walt Disney was right to turn it down, because the story is more or less about this rooster who believes his crow and wakes the sun up, and it sounds like an interesting short subject, but I don't know if they could have stretched it into a movie. Yeah, Don Bluth made one on Chanticleer called Rock-a-Doodle, and that wasn't very good. Now we're getting into his work as an Imagineer. There he's one of the pirates. And and also the various rides he helped design. Yeah, this is a very beautiful book, and of course here's the ride to It's a Small World After All. That ride with the annoying song in it. Mostly the song wouldn't be too bad if they didn't keep saying, "It's a small world after all," over and over again. I think that's why that's so annoying. Like, I remember reading from Milt Call, who also worked for Walt Disney, say that to him personally, like, art was just a job that he could draw very well, but he didn't draw for his own pleasure. Whereas Marc Davis was very different in that art was his passion. Even when he wasn't drawing for Walt Disney, he was always drawing for his own pleasure. Like, this is dedicated to fine art he did. Like, he was also very close to his wife. Like, they both loved art, and sure I can show you this one right here, since they're pretty well covered up. Story goes that him and his wife really love art, and they were always drawing. And his wife at one time wanted to be an animator, but the times being what they were, she never really got the chance to do that, but she did help design a lot of the dresses in Sleeping Beauty, and she also helped design the outfits for the various rides like Pirates of the Caribbean and It's a Small World. So in a strange way, her dream came true. Yeah, this is about him and his wife Alice, so her name is Alice. They always drew together, nice little Valentines, and that's cute right there, him kissing her. She was a pretty beautiful woman, you know. It's always nice to hear someone has a nice marriage. You read too many stories about people who couldn't stand one another. Yeah, she was a fashion designer, but she did left her impact on animation. It's him with Mickey Mouse. And I believe Marc Davis was also one of Walt Disney's 9 old men. And behind the book is Marc Davis drawing. So, if you're really into Disney animators, I highly recommend you getting this book. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.